All right, all right, all right. I got the zebra in the house.
Let's go,
El-
baby.
Let's
Let's go,
go.
baby.
I probably should ask you before we went on air. Elliot Rearing, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to say. If it's too difficult, honestly, you can say Ryring. At some point, my family changed that pronunciation just to make it more difficult.
But
That's a
officially,
real
it's
thing.
Rearing.
It's Rearing, though, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, Zebra, it is an honor to have you on. I've been wanting to have you on for a while and glad we were able to get it. I don't know. Trace might pop in. He's kind of traveling all week, as he said on the show yesterday. So I don't know. We might see him. We might not. It's really going to just be game time decisions each night and keep it interesting.
I
But
love it.
there's a rumor, Mr. Rearing,
Uh-oh.
that you might have might be able to dunk in the absence of Trace. Lord willing, the Reds are able to hold on to a 7-run lead here.
I won't spoil the whole thing, but there is a hoop in my room. It's not a traditional hoop, but it is a hoop. It is a hoop.
What is this about from Mouthcop? Apologize to Ashcraft.
I've been on Ashcraft pretty hard, but to be fair, Ashcraft has been pretty terrible the last several starts. Up until the last two starts, he's been phenomenal the last two starts, and I assume we'll be discussing that during the show. But
Yeah, I think Ashcraft's probably topic A, or at least
yeah,
in the front half. But yeah, man, what a night so far here. Full disclosure, I missed about the first 3-ish innings. Said last T-ball game of the season. Went to Dairy Queen. Thought that I was going to get to watch a little bit of the Reds game while I'm, at Dairy Queen, but MLB.TV for some reason really did not like me tonight. Even though I could see Lake Erie, I was blacked out of the Reds game. So not sure what that was about, but
Rob Manfred, man. Rob Manfred. Just the worst.
Who
Get it
is
fixed.
who is doing Fireball? Oh man. I'm not in the you got that covered too?
I have it. Ideally I don't do it. Ideally. But I have it ready to roll. I have it ready in the other room. I can go pop by and get it. So we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling.
We'll see. I don't have Fireball. I got some whiskey, but man, I really do not feel like drinking tonight, to be honest.
Well, Nick, here's the other thing. I also don't drink, so I don't drink alcohol. So if I do this would be like my first time in I don't know how many months.
Oh wow, okay.
So, but I would do it for the people. If the people want it, I would do it.
We'll break sobriety for the people. That's what we're about at Chatterbox Sports, baby. Love it.
Is there a way I can see the chatters?
I think it should be on your screen. I believe you should see it. I don't know. I've never been on the other end of a StreamYard. I've always been the one running the show.
Oh, I think I see it.
Okay.
Is it? Okay, okay, I see it. I think I see Jacob Tissett talking in it. All right, I got him.
All right. We're in.
How about? Did you see the Cardinals lost, Nick?
I did. I just I added that to the ticker. I have no idea what happened, but I saw Jordan Walker hit a home run to put them ahead. Like a last hit, it was like 2 outs and they were down, and then they still somehow screwed it up.
Oh, Nick, it's the worst loss I've ever seen. It's the single worst baseball loss I've ever seen. I guess we'll wait to talk about it, but it's brutal. And I just want to drink Cardinals fans' tears. I just want to drink all their tears.
I mean, Zebra, to be honest, I'm not sure the St. Louis Cardinals are even worth us talking and what ends up being in the podcast. Like this part doesn't get in the podcast. I don't think the Cardinals are worthy.
I don't think they are either. But I just want to laugh at them. I just want to take a couple minutes and just laugh at St. Louis.
If there's ever a franchise that has deserved to be kicked while they're down, it is the St. Louis Cardinals. Stomp on their feet. Let's go.
They're just so mean. I don't know why they have to be they're always so mean, Cardinals fans. They always have it so good. Well, guess what? Now you guys suck.
Well, and it felt, to be honest, it felt like that $20 million contract for Wainwright was just them being arrogant.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't feel sorry for him. I know people are like, "Oh, poor guy, his last season. I feel bad for him going out on this love." No, that was a stupid contract. No one should pay a 50-year-old pitcher $20 million, and they got what they deserved.
I
And
agree.
Wainwright got paid. He got paid. No one in the league was going to pay him half that much. So don't feel sorry for him.
It makes you think how valuable Yadier Molina actually was to that franchise. I mean, I don't think they had a losing record with Yadier Molina. And now he left, and that team is utter trash. Just a trash team. Just sad, really.
Oh, all right. What out of way? I don't know. I'm not super worried about being synced tonight, unless Fernando really struggles here. But
no, we're good. We're good. I believe in jinxes, Nick, but I'm not going to jinx this one. This one's over. Cooked. See ya.
Zach Howard, I can pull these up. I'm not used to this. So I'll try to get to anyone. Yeah, Zach, I was mentioning I live in right off Lake Erie, and I was somehow blocked out of Reds Nationals today on my phone. So it wasn't just you, brother. Must have been some glitches in the system.
I still have yet to find like an MLB app that I just love. Like I use Yahoo Sports for just like checking scores.
Okay.
But I feel like there's a ton of glitches when it comes to MLB. Maybe it's just like the it's hard to update all the scores, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably still the best like sports app, but there's still a lot of glitches. The one thing that bugs me is if I try to put on a game on the radio that I pay $1 billion for, they started again. They started and they stopped and they started again, making you listen to like a 30-second ad. Like it's like,
That's
come
terrible.
on, man.
That's
like
terrible.
I already you get ads during the commercial breaks, and they're ads specifically for MLB because they're not like the 700 WW ads for me as I'm out of market.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's rough.
By the way, quick walk there by Fernando Cruz. Nationals keeping it in double slam range.
Double slam. No, there will be no talking about Reed Mouse other than you know what? We will talk about Reed Mouse throwing a gem if his Cubs can come back and beat the Brewers. There we go.
What a game. These are almost too, I don't like to say this, Nick, but they're almost too boring at this point. That's how good this team is. I mean, we walked into the nation's capital and just humiliated this team.
This is a team that won 3 straight series.
I mean, it's just
against like decent teams. Like,
it's so sad.
This season is just, I'm trying to like come up with words to say because I have to talk every night about the Reds. And I don't know what else to say, man. It's just, this is nuts.
You just smile. Like every time I watch these games, by the way, Fernando Cruz, throw the ball over the plate, guy. Come on. No, but it's like you just smile when you watch. I haven't just smiled when I watched a game. Just sit in silence and smile as I watch the Reds dismantle this poverty franchise in Washington, D.C. There you go. Right down the gut. That's what we do, Cruz. Make him hit it.
Yeah.
Is this Michael Chavez? Is this who this is?
Yes, it is. It is.
Oh, God. Scraping the bottom of the barrel. My God.
All right, Fernando, shut her down, or I'll have to move you down my power rankings of Reds relievers.
He has to be towards the bottom of the power rankings already.
No, I had him like 4th, and Trace went, what?
I agree with Trace. That's strange, man.
I'm telling you, man, look at some of the advanced metrics. I think he projects well. I was more projecting in that. All right, I guess we got to win. Game day's ahead of me. Oh, Fernando, he shut him down. This one belongs to your Cincinnati Reds. Hey, Elliot, can you say, let's start a show?
Hey, Nick, let's start a show.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first and Homer Bailey for the second time in his major league career has tossed the nose. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to a career of Trey Bruce.
All right. What is going on? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds. Nick Kirby joined by special guest, the Zebra, Elliot Rearing, to talk about the Cincinnati Reds 9-2 beatdown of the
Let's go,
Washington
baby.
Nationals.
Let's
Zebra,
go.
what's going on?
Not much, man. I just sat through that game. I just feel bad. You take a look at Washington and just the disgrace dumpster fire they have fielded there on all these games. I just feel sad for them, really. I just feel so sad for them. I feel great though. Reds are the hottest team in America of all time, maybe. So I'm ready to roll.
Some have referred to this team as America's team. But yeah, what a win. Let's just jump right into the box score recap. If you are joining us tonight, thank you as always for joining us. Like the stream. That helps us out. Subscribe to Chatterbox Sports. And of course, Chatterbox Reds available every single morning in podcast form. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And you know what we would love? We'd love if you left us a little review. Just a couple words. Maybe Nick is handsome.
Yes.
Zebra was a great fill-in. Trace is great as well. Whatever you want to do, we would love it. That would help us grow this thing. You've already been incredible. We love you. Go Reds. All right, box score recap tonight. Reds 3 of 4 in our nation's capital. In the bottom of the first, Graham Ashcraft got us some serious trouble with a walk, single, double play, and then a hit by pitch to load the bases. He threw a wild pitch, which puts the Nats up 1-0, but Ashcraft settled down and got a ground out to limit the damage. Top of the second, the inning started with a rule check per the request of Nats manager Davey Martinez on Ellie De La Cruz's Blast Baseball Swing Analyzer bat knob. Ellie was allowed to keep. Bring it back in, Ellie. Not sure what happened there. Ellie was allowed to keep the bat knob on, and apparently it had already been approved by Major League Baseball. Ellie would strike out, but keep that in mind for later. And then later in that inning, Joey Votto hit a 382-foot solo home run, his 5th of the season, tying the ball game up at 1. Spencer Steer then reached on an air. Stevenson doubled him home, and Benson doubled Stevenson home, and quickly the Reds took control, up 3-1 on all-star pitcher Josiah Gray. Top of the fourth, TJ Friedel had an RBI single to make it 4-0. And then in the top of the fifth, Ellie De La Cruz did this. For those listening on the podcast, that was a 455-foot, 116-mile-per-hour blast. That was the second longest hit ball by a Red this season. Made it 5-1. And Graham Ashcraft, he pitched very well after that rough first inning. Got the Reds through 6 very important innings, 7 hits, just 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. In the top of the 7th, Reds added 2 more runs on a balk and then an infield single with 2 outs from Matt McLean. Made it 7-1 in the top of the 8th. Ellie De La Cruz was not done wrecking havoc in our nation's capital. He had a leadoff double. He stole third base on a pitch out. Throw wasn't even close. Jake Fraley drove him home to make it 8-2. Later, a Benson ground up made it 9-2. And that would be your final score. Your Cincinnati Reds are 9 games over 500 at 48-39. The Reds are 13-1 in their last 14 road games. The Reds have won 7 straight road series. And this was a team that started 1-9 on the road. Now 24-9 since then. And they are only 5 wins away from matching their entire win total on the road from a season ago. Zebra, is this the greatest road baseball team in the history of baseball?
Yeah, and that's not even exaggerating. They don't lose. They don't lose when they're not at Great American Ballpark. They just don't lose. I don't know why they don't lose. I don't know how they're doing it. I think the handsome factor. Okay. I'm gonna have to see, Nick, I'm gonna have to get used to all these messages making me laugh and stuff. You guys are true professionals when you do this. But no, you look at this Reds team, man, and it's just like they don't quit, they don't die. The run production's insane. I think they've been shut out. I looked at this. They've been shut out one time in the past month. It was against the Dodgers on Kershaw Day, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's just like they just score. They outscore the other team. I know that's a Trent Dilferism, but they're just going to put up 10 runs a game. That's just how they're winning. Doesn't matter who's pitching. They're just going to score 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. Let's get into Graham Ashcraft. I feel like he's probably the guy I want to start with talking about today. 2 starts, very good, back-to-back, very encouraging. When he left the game, that's at a 269 expected batting average against Ashcraft. Not great, but look, this is a Nationals team that you need to throw strikes, that you need to make them beat you. And today he did that, and the Nationals did not oblige. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, Graham Ashcraft is back. This is the guy that we saw that first month of the season that we're like, hey, this guy might be at the top of the rotation starter. I don't think we need to go that far, but I'm starting to feel like, hey, Graham Ashcraft is a legitimate big league starter in 2023, which I wasn't there a couple weeks ago. So again, I've said it many times. I'll turn it back over to you. Reds just need Ashcraft to be a league average pitcher. If he can keep doing anything like this,
yeah, I mean,
it's beautiful.
As bad as the depth is right now for pitchers in Cincinnati, I think he was still 1 start away after the Atlanta game. He was 1 start away, in my opinion, from being sent down. As bad as our depth is, like, we just can't afford this guy giving up 6 runs every game. I know everybody makes fun of Dreamweaver, but I mean, Ashcraft wasn't going like 4 innings. He was just getting shelled early and often. And today, it was a good performance, obviously, but man, he was throwing the ball everywhere early on. I mean, I don't know how many backstop balls there were, bases loaded several times. It wasn't a great performance from Ashcraft, but like you said, I mean, if you're a league average pitcher, you are going to do very well on this team. Very well. Yeah,
no question about it. And big step in the right direction. This is really, I kind of feel like the hold the line part of the season, as I said on Off the Bench today. Hey, just try to get through this month. You hope that Green and Lodolo, at least one of them are back. I mean, just one of those guys returning healthy is huge for this team, because they're winning without either one of them right now. Now, again, we don't want to go too far ahead of ourselves and expect that all of this great, incredible magic is going to keep up, but nonetheless, it's going well. Joey Votto. How about it? I mean, this guy, what a roller coaster of a season. Looked absolutely terrible in AAA. Comes up, has this incredible couple games to start. Then he goes, 0 for 22. Yeah. And now he's just back to hitting home runs. I have no idea what to expect tomorrow. I don't know if another slump is coming. I don't know if he's going to hit 3 home runs tomorrow. I really have no idea. But it's just so cool to see him a part of this young, fun team, a guy that grinded through so many god-awful seasons.
There was a point there where I thought he was going to be the Asdrubal Cabrera of this season, where he's just not going to get a hit ever. But we're past that now. Against a right-handed pitcher, Votto has to be in. The power is there. If Votto only hits 200, he's got like I don't know what his OBP would be, 330 or something like that. But he's hitting tanks. He can stay. He absolutely has a place on this roster right now. Bottom of the lineup. Imagine getting paid into a ball by 39-year-old Votto. That's my captain. Oh, captain, my captain.
Yeah, I mean, I think Votto, I said this yesterday, but I think he's probably more of a power hitter right now, which is it's kind of weird, like as for a 39-year-old. But it kind of like that was kind of how David Ortiz was at the end of the year. It was just all slug, selling out, still could draw some walks. I wouldn't expect Votto to hit for a high average this year, but the Reds don't need that. They don't need it. They don't even need him to be the on-base guy he was.
No.
If he could just pop some home runs, hitting 6th or 7th in the lineup with all these other talented players around him, that's awesome. It's just really cool for me, no matter how the rest of the season goes, that he's got to be a part of this. Let's say even things, God forbid, did go south at the end of the year. He got to come up. He got to be a part of this, a contributor, and that's awesome because I think most of us, if we were being realistic a month ago, weren't sure if that was going to be the case, and so far, so good. Elly De La Cruz, 3 for 6. Home run is 4th of the season, 2 doubles. What did you think about Knobgate 2023? Because like I said, I didn't watch live. I went back and I tried to watch it back. It's really hard to watch situations like that back when you're not watching it live.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the whole maybe feel of it. But, I mean, I guess to Davey Martinez, I mean, when you're getting pummeled by the Reds all week, you got to try something. Threw out a Hail Mary and I guess kind of looked like a fool. I don't know.
I watched it live. I didn't know what was happening. And I saw they kept pointing to the butt of the bat, and it's the knob. And I was like, well, if there's sticky stuff on it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But it was just like a little piece of the bat. It was some kind of like it measured your hits or something like that, but it didn't have any electronics in it. And this is how sad the Washington Nationals franchise has become. They're just looking at Elly's knob. Don't be concerned with Elly's knob. You're throwing out Patrick Corbin every 5th day, and you're concerned with my guy's knob. Stop that. Stop that. This is Elly's knob. He can do whatever he wants with it. And Elly used it, credit to him, and he put it in the upper deck of right field.
Yeah. What I love his confidence. I really don't think he's a super arrogant player, but he'll just do things like he did on that home run that it just adds to his legend.
Like him and Shohei, like they don't like do. They're not like jerks about it. Like they're just so cool when they do it that it doesn't even matter. Like they can do literally whatever they want. Guys like Shohei, guys like Elly, and they're just so cool that it doesn't matter. So Elly can do whatever he wants, and credit to him for shutting up the Nationals, that disgraceful organization that got running over there in Washington. Traded away their hopes and their dreams along with Juan Soto.
Well, Nationals show you how not to rebuild. Nick Kroll shows you how to rebuild.
Get Kroll.
Well, some of it to the Nats, I guess, I don't know if it's to their credit. The reason that it's harder for them to rebuild is because they signed some really stupid contracts after winning the World Series. And you signed Patrick Corbin and Steven Strasburg to $250,000. I think it was more than that. And neither one of them are even remotely solid pitchers. One of them can't even pitch more than a couple times a year. You know, it's going to be really hard to work around that. So the Nats are a cautionary tale of going the other direction, but we won't get to that tonight. Last guy on the agenda, Will Benson.
That's your guy. That's your boy.
He's just not slowing down. I think everyone loves his energy, what he brings to this team, but 2 for 5 double, stole his 7th base of the year. It's just cool to see. I feel I'm not shocked that he's performing well or that he's contributing to this team. I'm shocked how consistent he's been.
Yeah.
I did not see that piece of him coming at least this year.
And hand up, I wrote him off too. I wrote him off as soon as he came up and he went like 0 for 13 with 10 strikeouts or whatever he did. And I was like, yeah, this guy's done. I've seen enough. And he has come back and he's fought with a fire. And honestly, he's the best. Is he the best 9 hitter in all of baseball? He has to be the best 9 hitter in baseball, dude.
Unless there's just someone obscure that's hitting 9th that should probably be hitting like 6th. I don't.
I don't know, dude, but it's unbelievable having that power all throughout the lineup. Having that just, I mean, Benson is actually the GOAT. I agree. I don't know. I'm thrilled with Benson right now. I'm thrilled with our outfield play as a whole, really, because I did not think this outfield would be good at all. Yeah.
This outfield was like such a huge problem coming into the year. And I think that was fair. I don't think anyone was necessarily like pointed that is a terrible thing. Right now, there's not enough outfield spots to go around.
No.
You have to send poor Stuart Fairchild down to AAA just because there's no room on this team. What is happening?
I don't know. I think Benson's hitting 300 over his last his last 10, and then he just does that for the next 10, and he just keeps doing it and it doesn't stop. That's my guy there hitting. Mouse Cop. How you doing, Mouse Cop?
Yeah, and then I think we should probably talk about the bullpen. I mean, yes, this game was out of control, but you know what? You know what was really nice about this game, Zebra, is how many of these 7-1 games did we see get to like 7-5 and get a little dicey? Derek Law came in, laid down the law, did give up one run.
Law firm.
But he set the tone. Then Alex Young, a scoreless inning. Fernando Cruz, my guy, scoreless inning, 2 Ks. I mean, like, Derek Law has a 2.74 ERA. Alex Young has a 2.60 ERA. Fernando Cruz, who got lit up early in the year, has got his ERA down to 4.64 as, like, I guess your 6th or 7th reliever. What's your thoughts on this bullpen that the Reds have really just pieced together out of nothing? I think the highest paid reliever is Buck Farmer at like $1.75 million.
No, I can't believe like Luis Cessa. I was against him being a starter right away. So it was like we just needed bullpen depth. There's no way you can trust Ian Jabot, right? There's no way you can trust Alex Young. You can't trust Fernando Cruz. I think Reaver San Martin was at the beginning of the year. These are just guys you don't trust ever. And all of them are outperforming. All of them. Every single one of them go down the line except for that Cub who came up, Alec Mills. That guy's a scrub. Everybody except for that guy has just been phenomenal. And it's honestly, people will laugh, but as good as the offense has been, the bullpen, I'd argue, has been the most important piece. Our starters haven't been going 5 innings half the time. Bullpen comes down, locks it up. Offense drops 6 in the 9th. That's how it's been all year, and it's been incredible. I would have thought, Vegas predicted 64.5 wins for the Reds. I was close to it. I would have taken the over. I think the team was better, but I would have thought the biggest flaw on this team was the bullpen. 100%, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, it's incredible that it's been a strength. Shout out our guy Rico. Hop off his knob. Can't wait for C-Box night. What an amazing way to arrive. Place your World Series bets while it's profitable. Hey, I got a couple bonus bets on the Reds to win the World Series.
Let's go, baby.
I got one that would have been $10K if the Reds play the Guardians in the World Series. It was a $2 free bet. I was looking for some just stupid, crazy odds, and I was like, hey, you know what?
Nick, right. You need to teach me how to gamble. I don't know if you know this about me, Nick, but I'm the worst gambler. And this is not like an exaggeration. Statistically, I am the worst gambler on the face of the planet. Statistically. Like, that's true. Should Will Benson be an everyday starter hitter? It's close. It's certainly close, Nick.
I don't think so. I think that maybe he deserves a chance at some point, but right now the Reds are in a pennant race, and I don't think you want to get cute. I think you've had a lot of success. If Nick Senzel wasn't hitting as well as he was against left-handed pitching, if Kevin Newman wasn't hitting as well as he was hitting against left-handed pitching, if Stuart Fairchild, who's in AAA, but if one of those guys falter, he could come up, hasn't performed as well as he has. And then there's still that guy named CES down at AAA that at some points, I don't think we need to this year try to go more than, try to turn these guys into something that they're not. But Will Benson is kind of in that TJ Friedel camp where he's a little bit different than Jake Fraley or Joey Votto because he provides some good defensive value. Yeah. He provides some really good base running. Like Jake Fraley this year has been incredible stealing bases. So I think maybe he deserves a chance at some point, but I don't think this is the year. I think you stick with what's been working, and platooning has been working. I think that's been a reason why the Reds are where they at, is because the Reds have maximized their talent out of these players. If Jake Fraley played every single game, I don't think Jake Fraley has an 842 OPS right now. I think he probably has an OPS below 800. And the same goes for Will Benson. I mean, I think if he had started a whole bunch of games against lefties, I think you probably would see those numbers dip. So I wouldn't mess with what's working, but I'm not opposed to giving him a chance down the road simply because of his defensive value. I just don't think now's the time now. You kind of with that?
No, I agree. Against right-handed pitchers, he has to play. But like you said, the platoon, you guys alluded to it yesterday, the Big Red platoon, it's undefeated right now. I mean, it's working on all cylinders. This lineup, by the way, tonight, Nick, every single starter had a hit. Every player who played had a hit. That's where we're at as Reds fans right now. Every single player in the lineup gets a hit at night. I mean, that's like, I don't know what you do with that. But Will Benson, I mean, obviously not yet. I don't play him every day yet. Not yet. But he certainly has a large part of this team. And against right-handed pitching, he's going to be playing every time.
Yeah, shout out something for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Zebra.
Yes, Nick.
Can you remember a Reds lineup that was deeper than this one? I've been thinking about this a lot.
Nope.
I don't even think 2010 was this deep. I mean, 2010 was pretty deep. I mean, you had guys like Lance Nix and Chris Heisey typically on the bench, and I think those were both good players back then. You had two solid catchers with Hernandez and Hannigan. I don't know. I don't know if I've Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson, and Will Benson are at 7, 8, 9 today.
I mean, you look at that outfield, dude. It's like, I mean, Ryan Ludwig is awesome, but he can't touch Jake Fraley right now. He can't touch TJ Friedel. I mean, this is unbelievable. Nobody expected this. I still don't get it. I don't understand how I can't comprehend what's happening. Truly, on a night in basis, I don't know how this team is this good. And like you said, dude, I like if you go down the lineup, there's not a miss. I mean, Kevin Newman every once in a while against a right-handed pitcher, he's a miss. But other than that, dude, I truly, Jonathan India, the only thing I would switch, and I know you're not a lineup critique guy, neither am I, but like if Jonathan India and Steer switched, right? So if India was batting 7, Steer moved up to 3, that's a perfect MLB lineup right now. Tonight's lineup was a perfect MLB lineup if those two were switched. And I'm the biggest India guy of all time. I really am. Nick, I see your smile over there. I'm the biggest Jonathan India guy of all time. He had a great play tonight. People were criticizing him. I won't criticize him for it. Was he not paying attention at first base? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. But that's the kind of leader we need, Nick. He put that spark in Ellie's bat, and the next at-bat, he sent it to the moon. That's the kind of guy you need. You can't trade that guy, right, Nick? You agree? I
was laughing at the Jerry Harrison Jr. comment because I love Jerry Harrison Jr. He's one of those just dudes. What is this? Is the boss donating to himself? He told me like we lose like 40% of this. So Trace, the man is beating you. Who's ripping the Fireball bourbon?
Do you want me to go get it, Nick? Nick, do you want me to go get it real quick?
Should I ask Trace if you call off work tomorrow? Are you free or? I don't know.
Ask him that while I go get it. Hold on. I'll go get it.
I don't know. I'm just a part-time employee here, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, look at those pictures, Elliot, the zebra. That's a tax write-off. Chad, if you got any questions, fire away. See, typically when we have Trace on here, like we don't even get the questions because Trace my man he could turn any topic into an hour of talk radio, which is what makes him elite. Don't get me wrong. I can't do that as well. So if there's any questions, I try to get to them as much as I can, but there's a lot flying through. So if I don't answer it, ask it like 3 or 4 times, and then I'll probably get to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, are you doing it now? Are you just
I was gonna wait. But if they want me to do it now, I'll do it now, Nick. What do you think? I can't see the chat right now.
Okay, you can do it during Nick Cage pillow talk.
Okay.
We can do that then. Yeah, I mean India's pickoff day was pretty bad though. And I'm not a guy that typically like I tried not to overreact during a baseball game. Like I know Twitter is not really built for that, and I know people love to just voice their opinions. That's what makes Twitter great or terrible or whatever. I don't know. I typically like whatever, like especially I typically don't get upset if it was like not malicious. Like if I feel like if someone's not like if there was a player that did what Manny Machado did on
Yeah.
Sunday where he was lollygagging down the line
Yeah.
and could have got a hit, I would be mad at that. I don't really get mad at, the Reds taking an extra base or whatever. Like that stuff just doesn't bother me because I know if their heart's in the right place doing it, whatever, doesn't bother me. But Indian and I, man, that was pretty bad. I mean, you got to clean that up a little bit.
It's a tough look for my guy with the bases loaded and the best hitter at the plate.
And you're at first base.
And like if it was from the pitcher, I'd feel a little bit better. But we can't be getting back picked by the catcher. It just can't happen against the Nationals ever. I mean, truly ever. So I don't know, Nick. I was told, or I was talking about this on Off the Bench. I think Reed asked me if this last stretch of games here. I think I predicted the Reds to go 5-13. I said, you know what? If the Reds go 5-13, that puts us above 500 when we get to the All-Star break. They have now won every series since that prediction, and I think I will be in Milwaukee for the series coming up. I think they're going to win that one, dude. This team can't be stopped right now. It cannot be stopped. We got teams worrying about our players' knobs. That's how good we are. They can't stop us, so they're attacking our knobs. Ellie's knob. Get off his knob.
Love it. Rico, man, just killing us with the super chats. Shout out, Rico. Appreciate you.
Good question.
I got to meet Rico on opening day back in our infancy. It feels like that was before we get to Rico's question. Zebra, does this season feel like the longest, greatest season ever? Like, I can't believe this was like the 86th game, something like that. Does it feel like there's been so many more games than that?
And the crazy part is we started horribly. People forget about that. The team was bad. Our bullpen was blowing games early on. Offense really couldn't pull it together. Starters still weren't connecting the dots. I mean, it was not great early on. And it's just like that felt like so long ago that I don't even remember. I don't remember when this Reds team was bad. And I'm trying to think of like a more fun team in my lifetime. I was born in 1999, Nick. There's not a more fun team than this current Reds team. Night in, night out. I'm just excited to watch Reds baseball, and they're good. They're genuinely good. I didn't think they'd be good. They're actually good. Like, they're not lucking into wins. They're outscoring everybody. The bullpen's doing their job. Starters haven't been good. Oh, well, two-thirds of the job, they're doing excellent. So I don't know. I'm pumped right now.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's also supposed to do a show every night. Maybe that also
that's true too. You do it every night. That's
maybe that makes it feel a little bit longer than it is. We're gonna watch this live here, okay? And Rico, I promise to get your question here because Cubs have the tying run.
Here we go.
On second base, 2 outs in the top of the ninth. They're down 3-1. Devin wins the mound. He's at 20 pitches. So we're gonna give a little live reaction to this.
Yes.
Hopefully, Reed's Cubs come through. Talkman is at the plate.
I doubt it. Reed's Cubs suck. That team stinks. Out loud.
Fouled away. All right. Let's get to Rico's question because this at bat's going to last 4 hours now that I tried to stop in the middle of this. But, all right, you realistically think we're going to get a starter bullpen help? I think with Lodolo Green coming back and Phillips close, I'd almost ride the wave. Good question. Good thought. I've been a long stay the course kind of guy. Just because I don't want to see the Reds end up on the other end of a Tyler Mahle deal or anything like that. I think overall the Reds should not be looking to do anything that mortgages their future. And I'm talking even your 20th best prospect for a rental. Having said that, I still think they should look to get some starting pitching help, even with Lodolo and Green and maybe Phillips getting into the mix at some point. We'll actually talk about Phillips here in a minute when we get into our Reds minor league talk. Oh, my God. What? They just tied the ball game.
Did they really? Did they really?
No, yeah, they tied it. Yeah, they tied. Okay, the score was like it didn't trickle in. Yeah, they tied it 3-3, 2 outs in the top of the ninth. The Cubs just tied the game, and they have the go-ahead run on second base.
Let's
Sorry.
go. Let's
Sorry.
go.
Unbelievable. I think that guy was playing in Japan last year. Let's go. I love it.
Tokyo
But anyway,
Carp, Nick.
what's that?
The Tokyo Carp. The Japanese Tokyo Carp. Isn't that a team?
I think so. Sounds good to me. All right. So unbelievable. But anyway, sorry. Back to Rico. And I'll try to keep you updated on this. If for some reason you're someone who doesn't have another browser open and has a score up yourself.
I'm getting it right.
But I do think the Reds should still be looking at getting help, even with all this stuff, because what's the worst case scenario? You move Dreamweaver to the bullpen. You move Brandon Williams into the bullpen. Yep. It protects you from injuries. There's probably going to be some more injuries that pop up. So I still think looking at a Lance Lynn or someone of that nature, it still makes sense, even with all that stuff coming back, because you can never, ever, ever have too much pitching. What's your thoughts on this?
I think if you're looking at trades right now, I think there's a couple guys that come to mind. One of them is Jake Fraley. I think Jake Fraley is a very, very good outfielder that would help a team like Cleveland, who I think is very, very poor in the outfield. I think Miles Straw still starts every day. So I think he would certainly help that team. I think he could help a team like Oakland, who is just an utter dumpster, and they're just trying to survive until they move to Vegas. I think there are guys that you have to look at, but I agree with Nick. You can't at this point, and I've been wrong. I was wrong about this when it happened. I was against the Nick Krall moves. I was against trading Winker and Suarez. It's worked. It's worked. It's utter, like you can't, there's no argument against it anymore. It's worked. They were predicted 64 wins. All these prospects have come up, have been successful, have dominated the major leagues, and it has worked. There's no other way to do it. So I think you look at guys down in our minor league system, and it's like, why would we trade them if this is working right now? Another starter lets you rest the young starters. I agree. But again, you can't get a starter unless you're willing to trade up a guy like Fraley or another guy who I won't name because he's not going to get traded. There's another guy that people want to trade, and I'm not going to have it. I'm just not going to have it, Nick. This guy is a leader. I think he got on base 3 times tonight, Nick. 3 times. Was he picked off at first? Maybe. Michael Lorenzen is not an all-star. Okay, that was a mercy all-star by the MLB. Can we agree on that? I mean, he has a 4.2 ERA, and Detroit gets an all-star because they play in Major League Baseball. It would be hard for me to say. I mean, he's been okay, but let's not get excited with Michael Lorenzen. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong.
I would be excited about Michael Lorenzen coming back. I think he would help this team. I don't think
Nick, no question, but I'm not going to trade Jonathan India for Michael Lorenzen. That's not what I'm going to do. I mean, there's guys like Aaron Savali. There's guys like Paul Blackburn. I mean, there's guys that I would get that I know can pitch at a high level before I go to Michael Lorenzen. And I say this with love and I say this with respect. I don't trust him that much. I really don't.
All right. I like it. Let's get some other questions here. We're going to the bottom of the 9th in Milwaukee.
Cubs have the lead, by the way.
Did they take the lead?
Yeah, 4-3 Chicago. 4-3 Chicago heading to the bottom of the 9th.
Let's go. I tell you what, these games right now are important. I know some people are like, it's so early to be. Man, any game you can get a cushion. If you get this lead up to 2, you never know how this weekend's going to go. I mean, Reds are kind of due for a bad series, right? I mean,
no, Nick, no, not yet.
I keep saying it. I said, I just want 2 wins in Washington, so I'm going to keep playing it down.
I predicted 5 wins these last 4 series before the break. They've won every time. They don't stop. You can try to stop them. Nobody deserves this team more than Bell. I agree. Nick, I'm a David Bell. I was not a David Bell fan for a long time. I am a David Bell fan now. I think this team does not perform this well without a guy like David Bell at the helm. I really don't. I think David Bell deserves a lot of credit. I mean, obviously the managerial role in Major League Baseball is probably not as big as one would think, but I still believe David Bell managing everybody, making this clubhouse the most fun clubhouse of all time. I think he has a large part of that. I think the guys love him. I think the city should love him. They don't, but all his decisions are based on analytics, and it's just like Facebook Reds who still think Joey Votto's a bad player. They're the only people who hate him. So it's what you can say what you want, but David Bell deserves the world, man. Is he manager of the year? Is he NL manager of the year, by the way?
How I don't even know. I mean, I guess Torey Lovello at the Diamondbacks would maybe be like the one guy, especially if they win the NL West and they like outlast the Dodgers. I think you probably do. I mean, I guess I don't think Brian Snitker. I mean, like, come on, man, that team is just so talented. Like
64 wins, Nick. We were predicted 64 wins.
Yeah, I think Torey Lovello is probably the only one that has a chance if they actually outlasted the Dodgers. I don't think that's going to happen though. But yeah, I mean, David Bell could be manager of the year. Nick Krall could be executive of the year. I mean, I think they're probably both front runners, right?
They are. They 100% are.
But this is a good comment. How many teams has David Bell had that have been legitimate playoff teams? 2020?
One. Yep.
I feel like 2023 they overachieved.
2021.
2021. I feel like 2021 they overachieved, and I think it got kind of twisted at the end because of they fell apart. But I think people forgot, like, when that team was like 15 games over 500 or whatever they were at one point, like we were all going, wow, this is incredible. No one saw this coming. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just good for him, man. That season last year, like the vibes were just so ugly, and it's good for him to come back. All right, one down, Cubs 2 outs away from doing this thing.
Let's go.
And then Nick Krall made me look like an idiot. Because, like, I guess an hour after I was on Chatterbox, and they'll probably shut down Abbott at some point this year. He said, hey, we're not planning on shutting down Abbott this year. So there you go.
That's a winning ball club there. That's a winning attitude.
Good comment. We got one more on here. And again, if you have any others, just keep peppering me. Doing the best I can to keep up here. Any news of Antone, Lodolo, and Green? So I'll run down with you here. Green expect to return as early August. Currently in Arizona rehabbing. Lodolo is expected to return as August. He's also in Arizona rehabbing. And the target date for TJ Antone to start a rehab assignment is July 19th. So that's just after the All-Star break, just after Chatterbox Reds night. It would be awesome to see TJ Antone come back and be a contributor to this team.
Nick, what are your thoughts of Steer not being an All-Star?
I said this on Chatterbox off the bench earlier today, so forgive me for those who have already heard me say this, but 2 outs. Winker struck out on 3 pitches.
Winker, my guy. Sorry, buddy.
Has there ever been a trade that's
no?
That's come back around,
dude. I hated that trade. So I protested outside of. There are pictures of me protesting outside of GAVP. I might tweet that later. I might not. I held a sign. I went to GAVP. I camped out after that trade was made. So I feel like a dummy. But
like Jake Fraley's almost won that trade all by himself. It's over. The Reds are 2 up, baby. Oh, what a time to be alive. The Cubs were down 2 runs down to their final out. This season, man. This season. Reds 2 up.
Cardinals lose like that. Reds destroy the Nationals. Cubs come back to beat the only chance that anybody else has to beat the Reds in the division. So how about that? Let's go, baby.
2 games ahead. So regardless what happens tomorrow, Reds are going to have the lead going into this series. And if the Reds win this series against the Brewers coming up, no matter what happens, the Reds would have a 2-game lead at the All-Star break, right?
That's correct. You're correct.
And if they just didn't get swept, if they even win 1, they're at worst tied. So, wow, what a position to be in. It's going to be a fun series this weekend, and I'm sure Milwaukee's going to really be all out. So you're going Saturday, Sunday.
I'm going Friday, Saturday. Well, I'm going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm only going to the Friday game. We might go to the Saturday game depending on the concert that I'm going to. There's a festival out in Milwaukee. But But no, I will be there for Abbott night on Friday. I'm very, very excited. I'm a little upset I'm missing Dreamweaver night. As everybody knows, I'm the biggest Dreamweaver fan of all time. I think he's a Reds Hall of Famer. If this team makes the postseason and we win a postseason series, Dreamweaver in the Reds Hall of Fame, right next to Pete, right next to him. I want him right next door. That's where I want him. Dreamweaver, baby. Magic season.
Oh, I love it. I think I was talking about Spencer Steer.
Yeah, Spencer Steer All-Star.
I think Steer really gets punished because he's played multiple positions, and I think that's really hurt his like wins above replacement. I think it was like 1.9 F4 because he's not a very good defensive player, especially like the metrics really killed him. I think that's hurt him. But I mean, the guy, he's deserving of an all-star. There's no question about that. You could place him at 5 different positions. By the way, just 4 hard hit balls tonight. He was only 1 for 5, but he had 4 hard hit balls to lower his OPS to 881.
Do you think he's not moving up because of how well he's hitting at 7? Do you think that's what's stopping him?
I think it's more. I think it's about India. I think they want it.
Okay.
I think it's. I think that. I think the Reds and David Bell have acknowledged that India's been like the one guy that's been kind of picked on this year.
Yeah.
And India said he admitted that the trade talk kind of bothered him. So I think they're batting. I think David Bell's batting him third to show some confidence in him. And I think that you can make a valid argument. I know some people hate this, but that's fine. Embrace debate.
Yep.
But I think you make a valid argument that him batting third, number one, doesn't really matter all that much, and that maybe if it gives him more confidence, makes him more comfortable, makes him feel more appreciated, that the trade-off is worth it over getting more at bats. Now, I don't know. Maybe you could move Steer up, but again. When you've won 7 straight road series,
well, that's what I'm saying. You don't mess with something that's not broken. You don't mess with it. Don't touch it. But but I agree with you. I agree. It's probably confidence in India. We'll see. But I think if Steer were to move up to the 3 spot at some point, and I do think he will, I do think this lineup is the most formidable lineup in the National League outside of Atlanta.
Yeah. And I don't even know if Atlanta has as deep of a lineup. I mean, I think their top is obviously quite a bit better right now, but I don't know if they got Steer, Stevenson, Benson. Where are you at on Brett Kennedy? Would you give him another start?
Yeah, I think Brett Kennedy, dude. I mean, for a guy who was like, I don't want to call him like kind of a nobody, but he was a nobody, right? I mean, all due respect, nobody knew his name. Nobody's ever heard of him. And I think he did his job phenomenally well. I think he gave up 4 earned, and 2 of them I'd argue weren't really his fault because he left the game early. They are his fault, but I'd argue they weren't. So I would give Kennedy the start. Absolutely. I think he's earned it. It might depend though. It might depend on if it's a 1-1 series, right?
Yeah. And I think it also probably depends on the bullpen situation. I think if you have a fully rested bullpen, you may be trying to go to a bullpen game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give my camera here a break. Rookie move, left it hot, turned it off like in the 7th inning, but I guess that wasn't enough to charge it up. But let's go into some Reds minor league talk so I can pull up a full screen.
There we go.
So it looks a little less embarrassing here.
If you're an India supporter like myself, there's a guy down there who had a great night. That could be his replacement. So I'm a little nervous about that.
Had a great night.
Yeah, that's really sad. My guy Jacob is risking his reputation as a sports fan on Noelvi Marte, and he just had a phenomenal night. Phenomenal.
All right, Reds minor league presented by Betfred Sportsbook. Louisville, they lost 9-4 to Toledo. Connor Phillips got the start, his second start with the bats. Pitched pretty well, 5 innings, did give up 7 hits, but only 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for Phillips tonight. Phillips fastball hit 97.5 on the gun, and he had 8 swing and misses. Down, Noelvi Marte was 2 for 4 with a triple in this game. Marte's triple was 110 off the bat. CES had a 0 for 5 night, but did have 2 hard hit balls. And then our good friend Jose Barrero hit his second home run down with the bats, 100.3 off the bat, 389 feet. Chattanooga, they lost 3-2 to Rocket City, but Lyon Richardson, I know John Sadak mentioned him on the broadcast tonight, pitched really well, 3 innings, just 1 run, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Richardson has a 2.25 ERA in 40 innings at AA. He had a 1.00 ERA, only allowed 1 run in 9 innings at Daytona. Started the year there because they wanted him to start in the warmer weather before moving him up. It's a guy that's been mentioned a million times as being fast-tracked. I kind of wonder if he could get into if he could crack the big league roster as maybe a 2-inning reliever guy at some point this year. If not this year, I think he's probably in line to make it to the big leagues, at least by next year. The Dragons, they lost 4-2 to Great Lakes. Chase Petty, probably his worst start of the year, but really wasn't that bad. 3 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Petty has a 1.53 ERA in 10 starts with the Dragons. Edwin Arroyo was 0 for 4, but Austin Hendrick, he homered his 6th of the year, and Hendrick has 3 home runs in the last 8 games, so he's finally heating up. And it was a rough night standing-wise for Reds minor league. Daytona, they completed the 0 for 4 night. They lost 8-5 to Bradenton, but some of the offense played well. Hector Rodriguez, 2 for 4, hit his 14th home run of the year, a double and a walk. Rodriguez, 309, 947 OPS in 67 games this year. Sal Stewart, he also stayed hot. He has been absolutely on fire since about the 1st of June. 2 for 3, 2 walks, and he stole his 8th base of the year. Cam Collier was 2 for 5, and then Carlos Jorge, he walked twice and stole his 28th base of the season. So that is your Reds MILB presented by Betfred Sportsbook. And Zebra, is there any minor league guys that really stand out to you? Maybe someone you're kind of watching here this season.
I've been watching Chucky Robinson all season long. I think Tyler Stevenson luckily has found his groove a little bit. I think he's hitting 300 over his last 10. I think Chucky Robinson though is a good bat. I think he's an okay defender. I think he's pretty good, but the way Tyler Stevenson has been defending at the plate, I don't think he could be worse if I'm going to be honest. But Chucky Robinson is a guy, I mean, at some point you're going to have to get rid of Maley or Casali this season. I expect that to come at some point. And if you're going to do that, I would like to see Chucky maybe get some at-bats at some point. I think Chucky Robinson is a very good player, and I'd like to see him on the Major League team. Again, I know he was here last year, but.
That's some good questions. Alex Wallace, thoughts on Richardson, Boyle going to the bullpen like Wainwright in 2007. Not sure about Boyle just because he can walk 10 guys in 4 innings. But I like Richardson. I think Richardson could has the potential to have maybe like a TJ Antone role, like we saw him in the beginning of 2021 before he got hurt. I think that could be super valuable for this team and really protect this bullpen, especially if hey, Richardson's going to give us 2 innings tonight out of the pen. That could give, other good quality relievers much needed rest. So I would fully support that. Jack Butler, do you think we see Noelvi Marte before the end of the year? Well, Jack.
It just depends if a certain player gets traded.
Or there's injuries. I mean, I think either India would have to get traded or there's got to be injuries. Other than that, I don't even know if I see him cracking the roster as like a 2010 Yonder Alonso, where he's just like a pinch hitter because you don't pinch hit for the pitcher. So yeah, I don't think I don't know. I don't think they would bring him up for that. But yeah, let's get to tomorrow. We'll see if my camera's
fully charged,
rested enough for Cage. So tomorrow, Reds going for a sweep of the Washington Nationals. I honestly, I don't even believe it, man. This is just, this is nuts. To be Brandon Williamson going against Mackenzie Gore. I would say this is a tough matchup for the Reds, but is anything really a tough matchup for the Reds? I don't even know. Brandon Williamson coming off a really good start against the Padres. 5 innings pitched, three hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And he has gone 5+ innings in each of his last 5 normal starts, not counting that 1 rain delay. So he's really been a guy that's gone deep into these starts for the Reds. And kind of maybe unheralded. Also, kind of wild to think the only Reds loss on the road is that rainout weird game. Like, that's the only time they've lost in like a month. But nonetheless, Reds will be going up against Mackenzie Gore. He was one of the big pieces for the Padres in the Juan Soto return. 3rd overall pick in 2017 by the Padres. Top 5 prospect in all of baseball prior to being called up. A guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries. And speaking of that, he left his last start after 2 2/3 innings with a blister, but is expected to start tomorrow. Dominated the Reds last season. 2 starts, 10 innings pitched, only 1 run, 4 walks, 17 strikeouts. But again, he was facing this is a lefty. He was facing a lineup that just did not hit lefties at all. Reds have obviously kind of righted the ship on that. So expect a very platoon lineup. Zebra, what's your thoughts kind of on Brandon Williamson? Kind of an up and down season, but I think with the expectations, I think you probably have to be feeling pretty well.
At this point, I'm feeling well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big Brandon Williamson guy. I just haven't seen enough to be like, oh yeah, I love what I've seen. But I think at this point with this lineup, he's as good as we're gonna get probably, and I'm happy with it. Like I when he's starting, I'm not mad. It's like, oh, it's Brandon Williamson day. Like, we're gonna lose. That's not where we're at. I think he's a serviceable pitcher. I think he's an average pitcher. I think he's got good stuff. I think if give him a couple years, maybe he'll have some good stuff. But I don't think I don't know. I'm not a big Brandon Williamson guy, but again, we'll see. We'll see. I think he's going to be good enough. By the way, I want this suite more than that pillow's absurd. I want this suite more than anything. Dude, this Poverty Nationals team in Washington, D.C., they were complaining about Ellie's knob. Ellie's knob. Look at that pillow. Look at that pillow. And then talk about the Nationals pillow throw. And then talk about the Nationals complaining about a guy's knob. Get over yourself, Washington. Just a sad poverty franchise. They're going to get swept. A 4-game sweep so embarrassing. 10K subs before the All-Star break. I think we're already there, aren't we?
I think we're at 9. I think we just went over 9.
Okay, 9. Okay, yeah, we'll get 10. Okay, Nick, real quick before I do this shot. Mid-season awards. I will obviously let Trace give some mid-season awards when he comes back. He's the professional. Who would you say has been the best offensive player? Who gets the best offensive player midway through for the Reds?
Matt McLean.
I'd agree. That's mine as well. All right. Reliever of the year. Reliever of the mid-year.
I mean, you have to go with Alexis Diaz, right?
Okay. All right. Now this is a good one. Leader of the year. Who wins best leader?
Spencer Steer. I mean, the guy's played every position.
No, that's not the answer I wanted. The answer is Jonathan India, moral leader of this ball club.
Okay. All right.
Nick hates him. Why do you hate him? Can I ask you why you hate him? You and Trace, you come on here and you dunk a ball and you drink all kinds of alcohol, and then you come on here and you make fun of Jonathan India. All he has is luscious hair and he hits bombs. Why do you not like him? Because he has an error every 3 games? Oh, well. Come on, let's have some fun.
I like Jonathan India a lot.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Can you buy a Jonathan India jersey? Then I'll believe you.
I have a rule that I don't typically buy players' jerseys that I don't think are going to make it through the end of the year. I'm kidding. Kind of. Yeah, it's wild that India even feels potentially like a player you could move from and not skip a beat. That just kind of shows, I think, where the Reds are.
Yeah.
I do think, though, we probably should adjust our expectations of a lot of these guys like Jonathan India. Reds are going to be trading a lot of these guys early.
Yep.
I think that's going to be part of the plan. That's what the Rays and Guardians do. The Reds are clearly sticking to this plan. So I do think you're going to see more of that for guys that they don't extend. I think you're going to see some more extensions. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a Matt McClain extension in the next year or so. I think he'd be a guy that fits that bill. I think the Reds are probably also maybe at some point going to look at. I have a feeling they tried with Ellie De La Cruz and got nowhere, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think they had to. I can't imagine they didn't try.
Do we know who his agent isn't Boris, is it?
I don't think so, but I think he's like kind of like half in on Boris. I don't.
Okay. All right.
If someone in the chat knows, please save me. But I would be shocked if they did that with like Noelvi Marte or someone like that before they even get here or right when they get here. I think that might be something that you see the Reds start doing. But I do think overall you're going to see more fan favorites getting traded more early and often, and I think that's going to be brutal for some of the fan base. But if Reds keep winning, I think people will be okay with it. So,
yep.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah. Okay. So just a little note for everybody. I don't drink alcohol. Okay. So when I'm going to do this now, I don't drink it. I don't know how my body's going to react to it. So we're going to find out. I might spit this. There's a chance I spit it out, and I'm going to be really sorry about it. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh my God. He does this every night?
He did 4 yesterday, apparently. Do you want to text me your address in case I need to like send emergency personnel?
Oh my God, dude. That was horrible. That was so bad. All right. I'm back. I'm good. Is this when he dunks? Is this when Trey stunks? He usually says like, "Oh golly day," and then he goes for a dunk. Is this when I do that?
I think so.
Okay, hold on. All right. This isn't a traditional hoop, and I'm dunking a baseball. Okay, so he usually says something like really inspirational. So this is my inspiration. If you're in Washington, D.C., and you have Patrick Corbin and you're throwing him out every 5th day, it's not going to go well for you. So here's a dunk on a table. This is a basketball table. Here, hold on. All right, then he says, I think he usually says like athlete. So here we go. Did I do it?
I think so.
Did I do it?
I think it went in. I'll have to check the instant replay on that.
I think I did it. I spit fireball all over my carpet. All over it. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I mean, that was so gross. All right. Is there anything else? Do you want me to do anything else?
I think we've really covered all our bases. That was
right. And don't trade Jonathan India. Don't trade him. He's a good guy.
We can't after that, after all that work. Well, I don't know how to follow that up. But as always, please subscribe. I don't know why you'd want to subscribe at this point, but please subscribe to Chatterbox Sports. We'd appreciate it. And then, of course, Chatterbox Reds in podcast form, always available bright and early the morning after every single Reds game.
Dude, I'm going to puke, I think. I'm going to puke.
We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.